Hey Aquarius, how's it going? So I'm getting through the September readings for Al Yao and really appreciating your feedback and private reading bookings. Some of you guys are expressing some mega hard love vibrashe, and it's very much appreciated. So if this resonates with you, feel free to book yourself a private reading. The description has all the information you need. And simply how it works is you book a time, and as soon as I get the booking through, I'll endeavor to do your reading within 24 or rather 48 hours. So it gives me a couple of days to get through them, and I'll deliver it to your inbox, okay? So Aquarius, here we're always looking for the most divine love and guidance, offering clarity for your highest path, your most divine path. Ooh, a lot of major arcanas, and so far 2 kings. Holy shit, Aquarius, what's going on, my friends? Only 3 cards now. Okay, I'm getting like a lot of you are carrying quite a heavy load, quite a heavy burden you're carrying. And you're wanting to move forward. Definitely. We have a Chariot upright. For some of you, you might be coming out of a phase of hermit mode, going within. You've maybe spent a lot of time inwardly seeking your own light. So we have the Judgment in the upright. And I'm intuiting, because this is a general reading, like there's a few different stories going on for obviously different pockets of you that find this reading. For some of you, it would appear that there was like a divorce, a judgment call that was made, and these kings have gone their separate way, and we know that kings and queens in general readings can be interchanged, i.e. the gender. So it just feels like this King of Wands and this King of Cups have gone their separate ways. The Magician's in the reverse over top of Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So there's definitely, possibly some emotional manipulation causing a loss of abundance, a loss of vitality, a loss of a sense of stability and groundedness, which is what makes me feel like there was a parting of ways. There's a Knight of Swords here as well. The Knight of Swords could have come in. That could have been a third party situation that came in and drove the sword in the relationship. With the Judgment here, though, it does feel like all the lessons and all the turmoil and all of the breakups and whatnot that have happened are of a sort of guiding you to a higher path. And some of you, because you've been through a fair amount, either you've shone light or seen this manipulation. This Magician in the reverse is like, often it's like deception. It's like an abuse of power, which we know the nobility can be using. So kings and queens can definitely abuse their power, and that's what is coming out. Hence why some of you have had hermit mode. You've had to go into the hermit mode to process and integrate and heal from the situation. And I do feel with the Hermit into the Chariot and this Seven of Wands that you're almost now defending your start. You're defending your new beginning away from all of this manipulation and all of this abuse of power here, and possibly a loss, which is where their defensiveness comes in, is that damned if you're going to let other people do that to you again, right? Now, the judgment card is saying all of this was for a higher call, which is why you have the chariot moving you forward. The chariot to me is a very divine card. It's a 7, and it represents being protected and held. So see how they're sort of surrounded by a structure. So it's not like the Fool, just like, brand new beginning, which is a lovely card as well. But the Chariot is somebody who's sort of risen on a spiritual level and then is being divinely protected and then guided. The angel wings here, this sort of cross type symbol, or it's a balance. It's one of those like pins or whatever. It's a balanced, a greater balance, a greater sense of balance and integrity provides you a movement forward in a more directed path. So you're coming out of that hermit mode, having found greater clarity, possibly done a bit of healing here. With the judgment is singing your praises, having gone through and navigated this deception, this sort of abuse of power, and then the losses that you incurred. The Queen of Pentacles in reverse feels to me like there was a great amount of loss, that you might have lost a chunk of cash, your savings, a property perhaps, in the breakup of these two kings, right? Or these two noble energies. Now, I'm not getting that the kings or either party was necessarily ill in their intent, but the overall lessons that you've learned via the Judgment card and the Magician in reverse was about abuse of power, which could have been you or the other person. And yet with the Knight of Swords here, I feel like there was someone who came in and cut it down in the middle. And so you, having gone through the hermit mode and defended yourself, you're now able to move forward. There is a strong sense of moving forward here. You do have the 10 of Wands over here. The 10 of Wands is about carrying the burden. I often see the 10 of Wands as almost like the 8 of Swords, where it's the mental prison. We're in the prison. We're not actually caged, but we have blindfolds on. And the imagination is sort of saying, oh, we're caged by all these swords. And yet with the 8 of Swords, if you were to take the blindfolds off, you'd see that you weren't caged. The swords are around you and behind you, but they're not enclosed. They're not enclosing you. Similarly, with this 10 of Wands, you can easily drop the burden. You can easily drop the burden and take the Chariot to move forward. I feel like for some of you, you need to trust. You need to trust the movement forward in a direction that I'm sensing that you just don't know, because you've come out of hermit mode and you're walking away and dissolving this relationship and this platform, this sense of higher power, but it was a false sense of higher power, a false sense of security, an abuse of power via the standing of a status and the sense of nobility. And yet this Knight just came in and cut it to shreds. And then there's a loss, and yet a recognition of the abuse of power here with the Magician in the reverse. This is why you have the defensiveness card and why the hermit mode. And if you're not or haven't been in hermit mode, I would suggest definitely going into hermit mode to heal and get clear once more. Dropping the burden, dropping the Wands are the fire element, the transformational element, the ideas, the creative spark. And I feel like it's like, oh, life, there's so much hard toil and hard work, and I have to defend myself. And I just think, you can drop those wands, you can drop your defenses. But however, move forward, have an intention to move forward. And that it's like one of those manifestation things. Focus on your movement forward rather than the burden that you've incurred or the burdens that you've been through. Because the Judgment is in the positive. The Judgment is very much singing your praises, having gone through all of this. It's, again, I would say Judgment is like taking us to a new level. It's like a graduation, a spiritual graduation. Yeah, for some of you, you definitely have to go within. If you're still sort of in the thick of some of this abuse energy or some of this focusing on your loss, focusing on It's a double four. It's a double four with regard to the postponement. So if some of you are not feeling the surge of moving forward yet, or not feeling any sense of like positive judgment, you're just thinking, oh, fucking life, you know, defending myself and all these manipulators or this abuse of power, or, you know, how am I supposed to get over this? Well, there's this, it's going within. Going within will help you to, you know, come back to the center self and release the postponement. Again, if you're carrying all the burden, that is partly why we postpone. You know, stepping in. She's looking out. So you're sort of fantasizing about some new beginning, but you're still carrying the shackles of your painful past. You're still carrying the burdens of all of this loss that you've gone through, or the ending of this relationship, or this, you know, distorted abuse power that you've uncovered. And so you're carrying that, which is postponing the Chariot card, your ability to move forward. Where again, the advice is very much to tune in, to go within, to meditate, to listen to yourself, get really clear, you know, get really clear, because we've got, you see in the background, she's got all these different voices. So like all the pain of the past and the burdens and these people and da 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 da. You want to find that central integrity where you're absolutely clear. And this card as well, this is another layer to it, where part of becoming clear and tuning in is to not fall prey to other people's projections of you. You know, that's another layer to the postponement, is that when you're still entangled or still focusing outward, we're still projecting stuff into our field rather than getting really clear and projecting something super divine and fast moving forward, where you don't need to defend yourself, because you're only defense and attack, right? That's an element of that projection energy. It's like if you're defending yourself, you're defending against something. And defense is ultimately bringing in more attack energy with the Five of Wands. Yeah, I feel like if there's been an abuse of power and or some kind of social standing that you guys are having to find humility in, that's the eight here. The ordinariness card is coming through. The Chariot to me here is not some grandiose nobility and status. This Chariot here is about you moving forward with your feet firmly planted in the ground and a sense of humility. That's part of your spiritual graduation, is that it's not about grasping and trying to get more and trying to get some status. It's about moving forward in divine right action, so that you can be of service in a way that maybe isn't what you initially thought with all this nobility energy, but you can see you've lost it, right? That nobility energy has been cut up via an abuse of power. And so now your movement forward very much has to do with, I just hear the divine, Mother Earth, groundedness, humility. So there's a new phase beginning for you with the Judgment card, but I feel like for a lot of you, it's not what you previously projected. It's not what you once thought on an egoic level or imagined it to be. It's simple. It's more ordinary for a lot of you. A lot of it can come via participation, finding, again, tuning in, finding that sense of balance and peace from within, and then moving forward to participate in life in a sense of equanimity and again, balance in your community. So it might be that some of you have some divine skills, some offerings with this sort of graduation on a higher level, and yet the cards are, and the intuition is really saying to just stay humble about it. You know, don't get up in your head, don't focus on the past cycles, you know, come away from the burden and the defense and all that kind of petty attack and blame energy. Just tune in, get peaceful, come away from your past projections, trust in that Judgment card that you are rising yourself to a higher level, and an opportunity to move forward comes as you tune into your center self. Participating in life, there's a new adventure for you. But again, this is an innocent little child with the light, moving towards the light, again, grounded, ordinary, peaceful. You know, nothing grandiose, just in the trees, in the nature. But there is a sense of adventure here, of course, with the Chariot wanting to move you forward from this sense of divinely guided, divinely protected, and very much in your balanced state. That just requires you to go within, get centered inside yourself, and know that you've got this brand new adventure leading you into a sense of community and participation in life again, just from a more grounded standpoint, one that serves the humanity and serves the earth as well. So Aquarius, that was your reading. I hope that was useful for you. If you enjoyed, oh look, it's 11:11. Woo woo! Have a beautiful day. And yeah, if you want to book a private reading, feel free to do so. Love you loads. Speak to you soon next month. Bye.